It's what we call the penstock. It's a big pool full of water. At the bottom of that is 2 turbines. One turbine runs everything that you see moving right now. The other turbine runs the saw. And right now that turbine's closed. In a few minutes we're going to open that up. That's going to allow the saw blade to run. Originally this mill was a sawmill built in 1866. So right after the Civil War ended. It took them 2 years to build it. Then in that time it was converted over to a grist mill, which makes flour. That's now upstairs. So after we're done cutting wood, if you guys like, you have upstairs and see how we make flour to this day. So you're going to have to see 2 or 3 people. I'm going to be standing back here operating the turbine, making sure it's going the right speed and the right power. Becky over here is going to be running the lever, which moves the whole carriage with the log on it back and forth. So coincidentally, we put a monster of a log on the carriage, so we're going to see how it goes, but it's pretty beefy. They would have used much smaller stuff in this time period, and they would have made a lot of furniture back then in this mill. So, alright, so without further ado, we're going to get started. This does throw sawdust and wood chips, so you guys might want to head backwards towards the wall a little bit.
You folks back here should be okay. It's just, it's going to throw it.
Hey, babe. People from the post over.
I don't want any more chips.
Oh, right there. Scoot all the way up. You ain't gonna get no sawdust that far back.
Now we're relying on you two to count how many times that's been built.
We need 500 RPM.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yep. Show going. Are you ready? We'll find it. So what's the name of the place where the ring's at?
Here we go.
bottom of the water, where that shaft meets the water.
Yeah, I can see it right
Yep.
there.
Right now, one problem we do have is the log is a little bit, a couple inches thicker than the blade. So we got a big gap, about a couple inches, or an inch and a half, that we have to take into account. And right now, the turbine kind of wants to keep spinning. Are there any questions right now? We'll start up in a little second, but we have some time for maybe a couple questions here and there. Please, not all at once.
How many RPMs are the turbines spin at?
That I don't know. I know it spins at 120 horsepower. The blade spins at 500 RPM, but the turbine itself, I'm not quite sure. I know that our smaller turbine, that's about 36 inches, and that goes at 60 horsepower, which was a huge leap for the time, because prior to that we had a big wooden water wheel that was sat under this building in the place of the modern turbines that they put in place. But that only went like 5 to 10 horsepower, which was the equivalent of maybe a lawnmower engine. So if you can imagine trying to slice a log like this with a lawnmower engine, quite frequently the blade would get stuck, and they have to pry it loose with a crowbar while the thing's still on. So it's a dangerous occupation. And so right now what Joe down there is doing is he's taking off that little gap with the what's called the broadside axe. The job of a broadside axe is to take off an edge and make it straight. Oftentimes you use that if you're squaring a log that was round. Right up there we got a beam that's hand hewn, that means it's hand chopped. And that beam, you can actually see the axe marks from where the broadside axe struck it. And so that broadside axe is called broadside because it's flat on one side, broad.
When I'm over here looking at this,
And it's red oak. Okay, from one of the farms.
It's an old yeah. So, and it's still vulnerable. We can find a yeah. Okay.
We'll watch it again, or I'll keep watching.
I'd like to think it's a little bit better.